Hello, folks. Today we're going to be going over AppSheet. This is lesson number 3. And what we're going to be doing is putting in a fancy little check mark. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen here to, when you click on it, to actually turn a task from incomplete to completed. We're also going to add a view, another view, right? This is our list view. But we're going to add a calendar view so we can see just our incomplete tasks. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Where you should be is you should have an app that has a task list. The task list should be sorted by date and then grouped by status, right? So I've got 2 tasks here that are incomplete, and I've got 1 task that is completed, all right? The first thing we're going to do is add a little check mark so that we can make our app a little bit more usable, all right, to make it a little bit more easy to navigate, all right? Now to do that, we are going to go over to the left-hand side, and we're going to click on this little thunderbolt here. This is the Actions menu, okay? And then you'll notice that we have 3 actions already, right? We've got an add action, okay? And that's that little plus sign here, right? An action is just something that will make something happen in your app, okay? So when I click on this little plus sign, it's going to take me to the add task form, right? The delete action, that's this little icon here, the little trash can, right? If I want to just click it and delete. You'll notice when I click on it, it's got a little confirmation screen, right? To make sure that I don't accidentally click and get rid of a task that I don't want to. And then we've got the edit button, which is right here on the right, okay? And if I click on this, it'll take me right to the task form again, all right? What we're gonna do is add another action. So if you click on this little plus sign here, it's gonna say, well, what kind of action do you wanna add? And I'm gonna say, change status from incomplete to completed, right? I want to change that status, okay? And you can see it puts in a new action here, right? Now it doesn't have a really good name to it, so we're going to go over here and go from new action, and we're going to say complete, okay? And then let's think about the data here, right? So if we click on our data, right, this is our spreadsheet where we're actually storing all of our data, okay? And I want you to look at the status column, and you can see it's the status column that has these designations of incomplete and completed. And what I'd like to do is add a button in the app that's going to take incomplete and change it over to completed. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, when I click the button, I want to set the status column. Okay, so that's why I selected status here. I want to set the status column to completed. Okay, now notice I put the word and then I put parentheses around the word. That's to make sure that AppSheet knows that I'm just talking about a simple string of characters. I'm not talking about anything more complex like putting in that represents a whole column or row of data. It's just, you always want to have, when we're talking about a simple word, you want to put quotation marks in. So we're going to save it. Okay. Notice that in my information screen here, I've got a little icon that sort of pops up. All right, we're going to change that here in a second, okay? But let's go back to the task list. Well, no, sorry, let's do one more thing here. We're going to go to Appearance. I'm going to change that to a check mark. Okay, you can make that check mark kind of look however you want. Maybe I might just do this simple check here. And then I want to switch the prominence to display inline, okay? I don't want it to display on this screen, but when I click on Task List, you can see that now I've got the check mark here in in my task list screen, okay? But you might notice something is a little bit funny. I've got the check mark even in the task that I've already completed, right? We should probably put in a filter to actually not put the check mark in the task that we've already completed because it's unnecessary because we've already completed the task, right? We just want the check mark in the incomplete tasks. So what we're going to do is go to behavior, and we're going to change the condition. Now it's got the true condition in here, which is basically true for every, it means true for every cell in our data. What I want to do is I just want to say I want to just make this true in the rows where the status is equal to incomplete, right? So you can do a couple of things how to enter this in. I'm going to hit the square brackets and put status, okay? When I put square brackets around my status, it lets AppSheet know that I'm actually talking about the status column, the whole column. So you need to have those square brackets around the status. And then I'm going to put an equal sign where I just want to put the check mark in the rows where the status is equal to incomplete. Okay. Now, AppSheet kind of already runs kind of an error analysis, and if you get that little check mark, you know that you are good to go. Okay. So I'm going to switch that over. I don't need a confirmation screen like I do with the delete one because it's not such a big deal if I accidentally click it. Okay. And then I'm going to hit the save button. All right. And you'll notice that I no longer have the check mark here in the completed section of my task list, right? So that's what we're going for. Okay. So what I want you to do is to actually do this with your app. So you're just going to just follow the instructions and put in that those check marks, and then you're going to filter out the tasks that are already completed. Okay, the second thing I want you to do is we're going to put in a new calendar view, right? Because it'd be nice to have a calendar to see kind of our upcoming tasks. Okay, and we're actually going to use something called a data slice. We're just going to show the data, the incomplete tasks on our calendar. We're not going to worry about the completed tasks because we've already done those. Okay, so what you're going to do is I want you to click on views. All right, and then we're going to slice our data. We're going to filter our data to just show our incomplete tasks. Okay, you're going to click on this little link here in the middle. All right, and I'm going to say just show incomplete tasks. All right. Now we've got a new data slice. Okay, I'm going to say only incomplete tasks to name it. And it's going to say, what's the filter condition? Okay, what condition are we going to use to filter out all the stuff that we don't want and just keep the stuff that we want? Okay, this is going to be very similar to what we put in for our little check marks. We're going to say, I only want the rows where my status column is equal to incomplete. Okay, remember, you need those square brackets around the status. That's how we know we're talking about a column. And then incomplete is just a word in that column, so I put quotation marks around it. All right. Now it's fine. We're going to slice all the data there, and actions we're not too worried about. All right, so we've created our first data slice. Okay, and you can see that if you click on the data icon on the left, now we've got our data slice that just applies to, that filters out our completed tasks. Now we just have our incomplete tasks. Now we're going to go to the views, and we're going to create a new view. So we're going to go up to primary navigation, and we're going to click plus, and then we're going to say calendar, create a new view. Okay. Now we've got to kind of change this here. Let's do calendar. All right, so we've changed the name. We'll change over the little icon in the nav bar in a second. View type, you could probably guess that we're going to use the calendar view type. Okay. Now, the data that we want to access for this particular view type is not my general overall table. I want my sliced data, the data that only shows my incomplete task. So I select that here, and then you've got to put your due date in for every one of these view options. Okay. And then category, I want status. This is kind of cool. This will actually change the color of the tasks on your view. And then I'm going to hit save. And it's only going to show me the tasks that are incomplete. And it's these little red bars in my calendar. All right. So you've got, oh, sorry, one last thing. Let's go to display and let's find an icon that actually makes sense with our calendar. I'm going to choose this one. Okay. So now we should have two screens. We've got our task list. Okay. Now I don't want my task list to be my slice. I want my task list to show all my tasks. So I'm going to go to task tracker, the overall general list. And I'm not sure why it actually took out my sort by setting, but I'm going to put these back in. Status. There we go. I've got my overall task list, and then now I've got my calendar, which just shows my incomplete tasks, and I've got my check marks to do easy switch over from incomplete to completed. So I want you to get to where I'm at the end of this video. That's your challenge.